to all my viewers of VSIT and as well as outside VSIT. Today we are back again, another episode of Knowledge Bites created by Enactus. I know it's been a long time, so I thank you from bottom of my heart for being so patient, caring and showering so much of love on the previous podcast. And I make sure that this podcast is going to be as worth as the previous one because we have none other than Amey Gokhale sir. Sir has completed his Masters in Financial Management and has a 25-year experience in banking, service, financial and service industry. So without any further ado, I would start the topic of today's podcast, which is corporate environment and marketing solutions with AI. So sir, firstly, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule.
Thank you so much, Aditya, for having me here. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
So without further ado, guys, let's start with the first question. The first question, and this format of this podcast is going to be more of an interaction. So it's not going to be any burning questions coming towards you and I'll be seeking answers. Absolutely no. So my first question would be this word reverse mentoring. It's kind of alien to many companies. A lot of people don't really adapt to this new ideology which is coming in our market today. So could you share some light, please?
Yeah, sure. Basically, one we needs to understand what is mentoring first, and the general understanding is a senior who is trying to guide somebody who is junior to him or her. So that's the basic point. But what we need to appreciate is today's environment has a lot of youngsters and the entire dynamics is changing. So in a company we will have a generation who is senior age-wise, experience-wise, and you also have a generation which is young, dynamic, full of new ideas. So I would like to put this in a context that the younger generation tries to share ideas, innovations to the elder generation in the company and try to sort of share what could be the potential company policies, frameworks which the company needs to adopt to stay in tune with the current times. So it's essentially a reverse flow from the younger generation towards the elder generation. So that's what I could call as reverse mentoring.
So this question would also implement to all people who have just been graduated and who are seeking jobs. This word background check by HRs. It's very terrifying for a few people, but at the same time people find ways to overcome it. So could you share some your insights or opinions on background check by HR?
Yeah, what happened is, this concept I do appreciate that it's a fairly new one, but the pandemic has actually created this on a very large scale and the impact is sort of on a huge scale. Earlier we used to have the basic candidate profile checking from various paths. We had a certificate to prove his credentials. But with digitized economy, the way people sort of enter the corporate world, there has been instances wherein somebody gives the interview but online, but when he or she turns up, the candidate is totally different. So the thought process is, it's always better to go deeper into a candidate profile, and it not only relates to his basic checks but also the social media handles, because nowadays every generation which is coming up is on the social media platform. So the context which the background check does is HR or the organization tries to understand what sort of expression the candidate is doing on a social media platform. Are there any early warning signals?
Right.
Does it sort of help identify the candidate is leaning towards a personality or a B personality which may not be suiting to the company sort of philosophy? So it's more of a screening test, you can say, which the candidate is not aware, but the HR is actually doing this, so that it safeguards both from a company perspective and as well as the candidate perspective.
That makes so much of sense, because at time I had an opinion that the background check, the word background check by HR is actually very subjective, because if someone comes up and says that I can't give you job because of your personal life over your professional life, then it is a bit subjective.
Yeah,
what do you feel?
But what has happened, look, it's something like why there is a law. Because there are certain who don't follow a particular principle, so that's why the law comes into picture. So It's like the hen or the egg kind of situation, which comes first. So as the environment is evolving, so are those procedures evolving. So we have no choice but to have this as part of the new generation.
So I would say it's ever evolving.
Absolutely.
All right. And further, I remember, if I am not wrong, Panasonic North America was the first company to introduce the 4-day working schedule to encourage employees to balance their work life.
Right.
So what do you think, how would be the scenario for this policy to come in India?
Honestly, I have a very different take on it. By nature, we Indians have enough holidays. That's what my impression is. We anyway have every alternate month we will have some of the holidays happening. So anyway, if you really consider a working situation in a geography like US or the European state versus something in India, we don't have a strict 5-day situation or only a Christmas holiday or those standard ones.
Absolutely.
So we are anyway enjoying those holidays which are n number, honestly speaking. So I don't feel the 4-day pattern, which is probably in place at some geographies, coming into India so soon,
right,
unless there is a radical shift in the way our holidays are structured, which probably there is only a particular period wherein the holidays get concentrated, and then you need to have sort of to give a break to the employee, not have a strenuous 5-day schedule. Maybe then that could have, but I don't see this 4-day coming into India in the near future.
Or else just if someone could get a job in an MNC in India, and only then he could possibly avail to the services.
But again, what happens is the jurisdiction becomes India, so he or she needs to follow the Indian context. So he may be following the particular time zone for a work purpose, but a holiday would be guided by the Indian jurisdiction.
Right, and as Indians, we know how to optimize the resources in all possible ways.
Yeah, if I'm allowed to use the word jugaad, that's what we are good at. So the 4-day week, anyway, I think we crunch our way in such a way that we take a holiday, to ensure a continuity when there is a 1-day sort of situation coming up. But I don't see a 4-day thing evolving so soon. Absolutely.
All right. Talking about today's market, when we say business leaders or the sharks of the market, the 2-3 names come to my mind, such as Jio, then Tata. So if we talk about if we move in the future a little ahead, do you think the company Boat, the owner Aman Gupta, would he be the possible market leader in the near future?
Good question, actually. What we need to, I'll probably step back a little bit and go into a concept of economics known as needs, wants and desires,
Right.
So if the leaders or if the sort of industry veterans are able to really have the pulse of the population in terms of these 3 aspects, maybe that could trigger off a product innovation, which is something which you just mentioned, which has really taken off by storm. Everybody is quite happy to have that plugged into the ear, not having the wire around all those things. So yes, so again, if a company is able to really tap into that needs, wants and desire situation, not really bombard their product from their own perspective, but understand what is the real need or the concern of the client.
Absolutely.
Probably that could evolve into an innovative product. I do appreciate that Boat initiative is fantastic.
All right. And as we say, customers are never satisfied, right? Because if we make a product and if we say that product will satisfy all consumer needs, then that man is an idiot.
Absolutely.
So it's that, guys. So moving further, we talk about collaborations. We see many companies, as we spoke about Boat made its collaboration with Netflix, and many such companies, media houses are collaborating in today's time. So, but my question is, if there's a product which has a very average value and its audience is very niche, it has a niche market, then how would it promote its same product in the market where it faces such monopoly? Do you have any experiences or examples for it?
Maybe I could answer it in a different context. What I feel is the going forward trend is hyper localization. Maybe that's the word I would use. By that I mean that you have a product which is for the masses and you have a product which is for the classes. So you have 2 different sets of products.
Absolutely.
But as you evolve your product, you need to identify areas or specific sort of geographies or certain clientele which you need to address. So maybe a hyper localization, and I do appreciate, we need to sort of collaborate, because you can't fight the battle alone. Today's age is not about competition, it is co-optation, if I call it. So yes, maybe the hyper localization, in my opinion, could be the way ahead, wherein companies, platforms come together and try to address a specific, maybe a sector or segment, or things like that. Maybe that's the way.
That makes so much sense, which also reminds me this quote by Mr. Ratan Tata, as he said, if you want to walk far, walk together. Absolutely. On that point, I would further go to my next question.
Sure.
So we understand that in today's time, to be a successful marketer, or now I would put a modern marketer, you need to be A, good at creating content, and B, an experienced designer. So keeping that in mind, there is some level of discussion that the syllabus or the subjects that are there for today's students for marketing, is that enough? I mean, no offense to the current syllabus, of course it's the base foundation for every marketer, but could you share your opinions on the future of marketers?
Yeah, thanks for that. How I could probably address this point is, there is a lot of emphasis on academics, traditionally in our context, educational context.
Right.
I would really like some sort of situation wherein the students are able to visit industries, visit manufacturing hubs, visit exhibitions, and have a pulse of the market. Because being on the field, sweating it out, gives you immense sort of experiences, which actually shapes up your decision. So if that dimension of being on the field, or a practical dimension, is added and it is given due value in your course, maybe that could sort of give you more insights.
That's true.
Because you say in a country like India, we have so many different climatic conditions.
Absolutely.
So a product in one geography may not be suited for a geography which is maybe a drier climate or a colder climate. So being on field and having a practical usage probably could be incorporated in academics, which would definitely give them a pulse of the market.
Right. And moving in the zone of softwares, AIs, my very burning question, AI. If we talk about AI, could you first let us know, the viewers, what AI does in the field of marketing? And could you also share the possible sectors which are still untapped by AI?
Probably I will answer the second question first.
Sure.
In today's age, I think there is no area which is untouched by AI. Let me give you a small example. Very recently there was a auction, this paintings auction.
Okay.
And the auction, during the auction, the painting which won or the highest bidder, later on the audience came to know that it was not drawn by a person, natural person, it was created by AI.
Oh.
So imagine if painting, such fields, the expression, we feel that arts is the expression. But if AI is going to enter such fields, I don't see any other field being left out. So AI is going to be there everywhere, number one.
Right.
Having said that, just to come to your, the marketing, AI influence on marketing, of course, data analytics, understanding the sort of customer preferences, or having insights into customer preferences. Just to share an example, when you open an account, a very basic account with any financial institution, they gather a lot of data.
Right.
Yeah,
that's true.
The marketing companies, and you have a concept known as account aggregators. So there is a concept known as account aggregators, which compile data and try to have insights into the customer. And you will notice that you have feeds coming in from all directions, whether it be any platform you use, or if you have your digital footprint, they try to ensure that you are fed with those gimmicks or those products to your liking.
All right.
So marketing is trying to actually go a lot of into this data analytics part, trying to check how customers can be influenced based on their earlier purchases.
All right.
And marketing, for sure, I don't see people losing jobs, if I can say so, but there will be a lot of value addition which people can do to make the AI model full, or maybe enrich it with their personal experiences. So it's going to be there for sure, but we need not worry. We can always, there was an era of computerization where everybody thought that, computers are come, our jobs are going away. AI is maybe that's the feeling right now, but we have enough scope to sort of move around the AI space and get into the sort of zone wherein we can work together with AI. So
that makes
it has
sense.
got a huge potential. It will definitely influence, but I don't think there is a need to worry about it.
Right, and this also makes me think that there is AI. We are living that reality, but there is a possibility that people can get trained to handle the AI.
Absolutely.
To handle any kind of chat GPT, mid-journey.
Absolutely.
So
you require people to handle AI, right? They can't handle on. So you require some people. Again, just a point, if I can, with your permission,
please,
what I would like to stress is AI, IT, everything is fine. But the more important thing is the person who is operating the tool.
Absolutely.
If he or she is having a sort of proper framework, a mental framework, I think all other things could be,
everything is sorted.
Absolutely. But it all depends upon the person who is operating also.
Absolutely. Talking about Instagram, it's a great platform to market products, and but Instagram, again, there is some dark side to Instagram, right? So could you just share to our viewers what are the dark areas of Instagram?
I mean, yes, I don't see anybody who's not on Instagram. That's the popularity. But
that's true.
With every coin has two sides, and
makes
where
sense.
you focus or which area you give preference to, it will influence your behavior or your thought process. So yes, there are instances wherein some false promises or the way the portrayal is done, sometimes it's in the sort of a negative situation. It can have immense influence because it has a capacity to tremendously influence, because you have personalities who have a huge number of following, just it's like a blind following they do. If X person does Y, the entire community follows in that direction.
Absolutely.
So I think one should use their own judgment before just blindly following it. So that could be one area. Try to make a very conscious call. Is it really helping the cause? A. B. Sporadic instances of something going wrong will occur,
Right.
And that may actually the trend. Sometimes there's a catch trend. It grows up, it plateaus, and it comes down. So with the good, the
PLC.
bad, and the ugly will always be there. It's just the personality needs to be very much aware what he or she needs to take or not to take. So but pitfalls will always be there. There are dark sides, but it's up to the individual to absorb.
It's a boon and a curse in itself.
Absolutely.
All right. There is a limit for our time. I mean, the way it's going, I would just go on and on and on.
Yeah.
But lastly, I would just want to know, a young boy who wants to deep dive in the field of marketing, being so volatile, would you share some of your opinions on it?
I think it's going to be a definite challenge to be in the marketing field, because the customer needs, as you rightly said, are ever evolving. There is no end to a customer expectation. That's number one. Two, nowadays, people are bombarded with all kinds of information. So I call it not the IE, which is not the Internet Explorer, but information explosion.
Okay.
So you are bombarded with so much information that to make your voice heard or to make your product go across the customer, it's a challenging thing, no doubt about it. But what I could think of is, if you are able to target a particular geography to start with, and then slowly expand, understand the nuances of the market, what your product is, who's the target sort of clientele. Is it a family, so you can target everybody in the family, or is it a age-wise sort of product? If we are able to zero in on that aspect, you zero in on a particular client segment and focus and not lose heart, because I believe a sales guy or a marketing guy needs to have a very big heart and the ability to
face objections.
digest no.
Absolutely.
That's very critical. So it's a very exciting area. You need to take it with your chin up. But I think it's an exciting area. One should, and mind you, for a business to thrive, you require marketing and sales to happen. Otherwise, it's like, the business will never grow. So if there is need to be an income, you need to have sales and marketing. So it's Wonderful. A great field. So all the very best for your future.
Thank you so much,
sir.
Thank
you so much. Thank you.
And that was a wonderful conversation.
Thank you so much.
I would just tell all my viewers that looking for perfection is the only way to motivate yourself. So this is not quoted by me. This is quoted by my idol Ronnie O'Sullivan, and it's wonderful to have all of you looking at this, because we are just trying to put out information for you guys, like the mistakes or the things or the opportunities that you may come across in the future. So we just want you guys to be aware and make the full out of it. And I would also thank our sir to give us time and to help us out through this journey.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
I would also request my viewers to subscribe to this channel, and the Instagram handle will be in the description. So please go hit the bell icon, and you know what to do, guys. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.